Hey y'all, I'm back with another update. This is batch number 2 for this prototype that we're putting together, and this one actually turned out a lot better than the last one. Albeit it still needs a lot of work, but we are light years ahead from where we were last time. Last time we just had a big glob of goo, and it was overpowering as far as the aroma and the taste. We were going for a sort of a Southern Harvest type bar where it had, I mean, it was nice. It had good stuff in there. It had onions, garlic, rosemary, thyme, smoked paprika, and it was sort of a Southern Harvest kind of flavor, reminiscent of a roasted stew, but it wasn't working. Maybe I had too much seasonings, I don't know. So I backed off of that this time. The other problem was we had a little too much moisture. And so because of all the moisture, we could not get the product to shape correctly in our meal bar press. But this time we decided to scale back on the savory flavors and add a little more sweet to it, natural sweet, by putting banana in there and cinnamon and vanilla extract. So we're looking at, we still have dates. We still have dates in there, so there's a caramel flavor. What we did with the oats, instead of using the oats to make it granola-like, we processed the oats, so now it was more of a flour, and that helped absorb some of the moisture. So we processed the oats, made it flour. We made the dates, turned the dates into paste. We added egg whites again and added water to that. Pumpkin seeds, chia seeds, unhulled sesame seeds, all that was mixed together. What we do? We roasted or slightly singed the seeds in the oven just for a minute, and or toasted. Toasted was the word I was looking for. We toasted the seeds for about 5 minutes, and we mashed about a half a ripe banana for 2 bars, and added some teaspoon vanilla extract, pinch of salt, and we saved the preservatives for this batch just because it's for sampling, which we're using mixed tocopherols for preservatives. But in the process of producing this bar, it it still had a lot of moisture in the beginning. But we nailed the taste. I think we got really close to the taste. The taste was really good. It more had the flavor of instead of a Southern Harvest, it kind of tasted like a Southern sweet bar. So we might be going with that branding if we move forward with this particular bar. But we had a moisture problem in the very beginning, so we started to add flour to it just to see what that would do. And it did. Of course, it absorbed all the moisture and made it more solid. And I was able to press the bars. Here, I can let you look at this. We now have a rectangle of 5 by 3, about a half an inch thick, 210 ounce bar. So that's what we got. And all the white that you see on it right now, it's just flours. And so that flour was put on the outside of the bar to act as to help us be able to slip it out of the meal bar press whenever we pressed it, because it was still sticking. So we're going to have to do some work on the meal bar press itself, perhaps add the rubber lining or add parchment paper, something of that nature, to help us be able to press these and not stick to the meal bar press as well. But we have something solid that we're looking at now, and the taste is pretty close. If not, we're just about there. The only thing that brought the taste down on this a little bit was the flour. When we put too much flour in it, it diluted the sweetness. You can still taste it, but it diluted the sweetness. So if I break this, it broke pretty easy. It still pretty much stays intact. I mean, there might be a few crumbs that fall in place, but it's working so far. I think we just got to come up with the way to get rid of the moisture. And I think what we're going to try on the third batch is, so the dried egg whites is when you add water to it, and perhaps I'm putting too much water in it. And I'm hearing you're supposed to add pretty much double the amount of water. So if you use 60 grams of dried egg whites, you need to use about 120 to rehydrate it. So you're rehydrating the egg whites, and that goes. So I may be using too much water. So what I'm going to do is, because there's already moisture in the mix, we're going to start off by not adding the water to the dried egg whites and see what happens. And then we're going to slowly add water to the mix as we need it and go from there and see if that does the trick. But I think we are pretty close. I didn't taste this particular bar yet, but yeah, it's the same. You definitely taste like the extra flour in it because it diluted the sweetness, but it's good. We are really close. I think we're onto something, and we'll be there before you know it. I made 2 of them. Actually, there was a third. I got 2 bars here. So there was a third bar. I tasted it on that. We already tasted it with that other bar. And we meant to make 2 bars. And the only reason why it produced a third bar, because that's how much extra flour we ended up putting into the mix. So we're going to try the dried egg whites and see if we can back off the water for a minute and see what that does after we mix it. If that doesn't work, then we're going to try doubling up on the rolled oats and making more flour out of that. Maybe right now I could use 150 grams of rolled oats for 2 bars. So I may go 300 or 250 or 300. I'm sorry, yeah, 250 or 3 for 2 bars on the next round if the egg white additions or the egg white solution doesn't work. So, and there we have it. So we'll get there. We'll get there before you know it. So this particular bar, I'll just tell you what it has so you'll know. We have, each bar is about 210 grams, weighs about 210 grams per bar before I dehydrate it in the oven. And afterwards, we were looking at about 200 grams per bar. So what is it about? I think I mean 210 ounces. I don't know. I'm getting all my metrics all mixed up. Anyways, so at the end of the day, we're looking at about 750 calories per bar. We got about 32 grams of protein, 22 grams of fat, 3.5 grams of that is saturated fat, and 100 grams of carbs, and 18 grams of fiber. So let me think of anything. Sugars, we got 45 grams of sugars, all natural from dates and bananas. There's no added sugars in there. The sodium sits at about 80 milligrams, and that's it. So everything is, so a lot of the meal bars that you see right now, they're macronutrients. I mean, they're up there, and they may claim to be a meal bar, but some of them you got to be careful there. They might be just shy or just under what a meal bar should be to be considered an actual meal bar. So you might not be getting quite enough protein in there, for example. Like I've seen a meal bar recently that was promoted as a meal bar. It had about 600-700 calories in there, but it only had a smaller percentage of it was protein. It was under 18% or 18 grams of protein, and which was under the recommended amount to be actually considered a full meal replacement bar. So everything in this bar is high enough in macronutrients to where you can actually consider it. This is a full meal that you're getting when you eat a bar like this at 750 calories. But anyways, I went a little long on this video, but I just wanted to update you, see where we were on batch 2 and what our next steps were batch 3. And I will be in touch. And thank you so much for keeping up with me. We'll be there before you know it. And you've been along for the ride, and I thank you. Until then, keep moving. Talk to you soon. Bye.